Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakaha Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect and the 1/3 remnant out there listening and doing this word with all faith and sincerity scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say shalom, Lord willing. This video is edifying. It's going to be centered around this article by the Wall Street Journal. And it's entitled, Russia is Sharing Satellite Imagery and Drone Technology with Iran. Moscow has expanded intelligence sharing and military cooperation to help keep Tehran in the fight against the U.S. and military might, right? So as we here at Great Millstone, starting off with the apostles and elders on down, have been prophesying, Russia is stepping up to the table on the world stage to be the defender of these lesser nations. Okay. And they're going to become more and more involved in this war between the U.S. and Iran and Israel. And the tide is going to turn. Okay. Already up until this very moment, nobody in the White House before this, nobody in Trump's cabinet before this attack took place thought that this war would be this long. Okay, they thought that after they took out the supreme leader and a couple of more people that would be all that they need, but they're finding out that it doesn't matter how many people they kill. The Lord has put the spirit on these persons to be resilient, right? All according to prophecy, because they play a good part or decent part in prophecy along with Russia. Okay. And, Russia has its own conflict in Ukraine. And, this whole altercation is helping them out because it stops or takes away the focus off of their situation and it puts it on this. So this is all benefiting Russia, and not to mention Russia is a very large oil producing nation, and with these prices up the way they are, right, and a lot of these different nations can't get their oil through the Strait of Hormuz, Russia is the person who is benefiting the most because they're selling their resources at a higher price to nations in which formerly weren't dealing with them. Okay, so the Lord is using this whole situation, this whole war, to make America weaker and its enemies stronger. Okay? And that's all according to prophecy. This is Ezekiel 38 and 3. And again, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shema, behold, I'm against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, right? So this is the, if you want to call it, anti-Babylonian coalition, right, that we're seeing being formed in real time. Okay, the Lord said he's against the nation of Russia, right? He's against the Russians, but guess what? He's going to use them against the United States, right? Babylon the Great. He's going to use them. And he's going to put hooks into thy jaws. What does that mean? He's going to turn them back to that old Soviet empire, that spirit, that mindset, that might, right? And they're going to, they've been building up, over the past few years. They, to keep it honest, they're more experienced in this modern way of fighting, right? With a high volume of drones and ballistic missiles. Okay. And they're going to share that intelligence and that strategy right along with the Iranians to further diminish America's capabilities, which have been diminished to a pretty good extent, along with Israel, even though it's not being covered. Right. This is true. Right. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with helmet, or all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar, and of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with these. See, so he's gonna have, a lot of these nations that have, for a long time been known as lesser nations, weaker nations, right? Well, together they're going to make, a very strong pact, right? Especially with Russia's assistance. These nations, Russia has a lot of good equipment, especially when it comes to the ballistic missile delivery systems, right? They got the better of the scientists in that department. All through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah for this very moment right now. Okay? For them to build up the way that they're doing and use all that weaponry on America. This is Jeremiah 51:11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahweh Shema Shah raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Yahweh Shema Shah, the vengeance of his temple. See, so he's making bright those arrows. What are the modern day arrows? Those ballistic and hypersonic missiles. Okay? Those are the new primary weapons in warfare. Right? Drones and missiles. All the rest, if you're just an infantryman, man, you're just, meat for the grinder, man. To hold a position until, something takes you out of it. Right? And that's what America's going to find out. Okay, America is outdated. The way in which their military functions is outdated. It's a new way of war now. Okay, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, and set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes, for Yahweh Shema Shah hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. And that's what Iran is. Iran is a big trap. Okay. Lured, used to lure in the U.S. and Israel for the fight of all fights, Armageddon, right? as the U.S. commanders are calling it, the War of Armageddon. And it's going to get extremely bloody, and it's going to take a turn in which, everyday people are not prepared for. All right. So, prepare for this thing to continue to escalate and more people to get involved, and watch Russia's hand in it continue to expand. So with that, give all praise and glory to Yahweh Hashem, El Shabbat, Hashem, Rakakudash, Wa, Ba, Ba, and DTA, DTN.